Well, obviously, a huge pickup in volatility this week, and really April was just such a terrible month in terms of returns. And typically, it would have been a very positive seasonal month. So we have very weak tape. Nobody would argue against that. And I know there's good reason to look for a buying opportunity, but I don't feel like we're convinced that we have one at this time. The oversold conditions have not been eliciting the reaction that we would hope, and that's more indicative of a downtrending tape. And then, of course, we have the S&P 500 testing some key support. It is below at present. It's roughly 4,200. So if we see a weak close this week, so that means very soon, we would confirm the breakdown that we've been watching. And while it doesn't really have implications for the very near term, meaning next week, even the week after necessarily, it does have bearish intermediate or long-term implications with the secondary support for the S&P 500 roughly 38.15.
If you're saying that if we break below that level, 38.15, which we're not quite at yet, that would be long-term problematic?
So it's actually the 4,200 level that's being confirmed potentially today, because we always wait for breakdowns to be confirmed.
Below there, yeah.
Yeah, and so it should confirm today. It's on a consecutive weekly closing basis, and the targeted support zone would be around 38.15. It's not as far below as it was a couple weeks ago, of course, but it does suggest that risk would be increased over the intermediate term. And obviously, the long-term momentum has already shifted in a negative way. We've seen pretty terrible market breadth or participation, meaning more stocks are going down on down days. We also have seen downside leadership unfold from the mega caps. And that's been obviously problematic already year to date. And it's something that we probably will see more of, especially if it names like Apple, which of course is such a heavyweight in the major indices. If it starts to exhibit downside leadership in earnest, I think we're just going to see more of the same.
Well, so today is interesting because Apple's higher, but Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Tesla, NVIDIA, all the other tech mega caps are lower. NASDAQ 100 is under heavy selling pressure. What do you see for that hard-hit part of the market, the NASDAQ 100?
Yeah, the NASDAQ 100 is also below support and poised to confirm a breakdown today with negative intermediate to long-term implications, with its next support level of roughly 10,600. And you can see that the percentage downside to that level is far worse than the 38.15 for the S&P 500. So the implications there are that we could see underperformance by the NASDAQ 100, continued underperformance at this point, and that would likely mean that you're getting the underperformance from the likes of Apple and Microsoft and Google, which have a bigger footprint, not much bigger, but a bigger footprint in the NASDAQ 100.